Hi, Bonnie. Very nice job this week. Appreciate your posting. I wanted to start with this picture. I love the composition of this detail of the Gothic arch in Hartford. Um, I like to ask the question, is the picture about color, or is it about structure and light? And if it's not really about color, should it be in color, or might it be enhanced or stronger if it were in black and white? There's no absolute answer to that question, but I thought this one might be a good candidate for being in black and white. A couple of tiny technical things, though, and I wanted to show you how I might edit this. I noticed there's a very slight, perhaps buzz, possibly from the shutter speed being a little bit slower than it could be. If you're shooting with a telephoto lens, you want to keep your shutter speed over 250th of a second or so in order to make sure that everything is sharp when you're hand holding the camera. So anyway, why don't I edit this in black and white just to show you. I'm in Photoshop here, and so I'm going to immediately convert this to black and white. So I say Image, Mode, Grayscale, and I'm flattening it because when I pasted your image, it created a new layer, so it's now one layer. And I'm noticing that it's a bit bright, a bit contrasty, so I'm going to just take this down a bit. So I'm going to go Image, Adjustments this time, Brightness, Contrast, and lower the brightness. Some of these little edges are a little bit hot, I call them, little blowouts like that, and that's one of the problems if you're shooting with JPEG and not RAW. Since you have a DSLR, if you shoot in RAW and open your images in RAW, you can get control over these little spots like that. Since I'm working with the JPEG, I can't really do it. But here's the before, brighter, darker, brighter, darker. And I'm going to take the lasso and lasso the central area here like this, and take the select and mask button and feather this out a little bit. So dialing that up so that it blends, and say OK to that. And then I'm going to invert the selection to even darken the outside more relative to the inside. So select inverse, and again Image, Adjustment, Brightness, Contrast, and I'm going to lower the contrast. Oops, right here, bring this onto the screen. Brightness down a little more, contrast down to try to, okay. And notice how, and then deselect, how the image is, the focal point is coming forward more, and the repetition of these curves in the background contribute. Okay, good. Let me get out of Photoshop here. Let me pause for a second. And we're back to the blog here. So once again, here's the way your image was posted, and here's my version of it. Okay, going down now. I like this one a lot. The focal point being right here where it's sharp, and the chain going out of focus is good because it provides emphasis to this focal point. This works fine in color, actually. So this is perhaps my second favorite, or one of my favorites. As we scroll down, I love the fact that you're looking at details of this wood block here and the rope and so on. One thing I mentioned to everyone in the orientation materials is to try to avoid sky, and that includes bright backgrounds. What ends up happening is that the bright background competes with the focal point here for your attention, and thus it's not as strong a picture. So just by changing your body even a few inches up, down, left, or right, you can oftentimes find a darker background to show this. against. This is a little better, but there's still this bright spot up here, probably sky in this corner. So if you pay attention to that one small detail, you're going to find your images get to be stronger instantly. I love the detail again of the wooden block and the rope here. See, this works nicely, although it's got a little buzz to it also, and the buzz is from a slower shutter speed. So when you're shooting, even if you keep it in automatic, pay attention to what the shutter speed is, and if you're zooming in at all, remember to try to keep it up over 2/50th, 1/25th as a minimum of a second. But in terms of composition, focal point, no bright areas that are distracting, and looking at things from a macro point of view, I love this a lot. So the only thing that would make this stronger is to sharpen it up by a faster shutter speed. Now we come to this one. This is my favorite of the group. It's lovely and professional in every way because of the straight on simple composition and how you've aligned the type on the cast metal with the edges of the frame, how this is sharp and how the light glows, and there are no distracting highlights here. So this is my favorite of the group. Okay, this is okay, it's pretty good. Repetition here. The background out of focus is good to help see this. And okay, this is good. I like the reflections on the building. I could edit this to be just a little more brightness, add a little more brightness right through here, and contrast and light. Let me do that actually. I'm going to right click on this and copy image and come over into Photoshop. Hold on a second. Bring, Photoshop back. Right in here. File new. And clipboard now with CC 2017 and edit paste. Zoom in just a little bit. If I hit levels, and the shortcut is Control L or image adjustment levels, I use levels when I image adjustment levels, and Control L is the shortcut. When I'm pumping up quiet tones, I use levels, and when I'm quieting down bright things, I use image adjustment brightness contrast. And see, as I raise the contrast in the image, this is the first step. And then secondly, I'm going to take the lasso tool and lasso around this interesting reflection, feather it out, and then hit levels one more time and bring up the light in this area again just a bit. Raise the contrast by moving the midtone to the right and the shadow in a little bit. This is the shadow side on the left. And OK, and deselect. And notice how this looks versus, let me move this out of the way, this. You see, this is a little bit quiet and dead, and this is more lively and interesting. And this is, the idea is not to, quote, Photoshop something into unbelievable or disbelief or to fabricate, but rather to enable the viewer to see what you had in your mind's eye when you shot the picture. This is what you saw. This is what the camera gave you. So our job in editing is to help deliver images that you pre-visualized when you were out shooting, more like this and not as much like that. So excellent. You say you don't have a creative bone in your body, so I'm here to show you and disagree. Creativity lies in getting to work and going out and looking, in photographic terms, looking carefully at your world and presenting it back to us. And creativity happens along the way while you're doing your work. This is getting to be 10 minutes. Sorry for the length, but anyway, good job. Keep up the good work and keep shooting. See you then.